Yo, what's up, wonderful people? I'm really glad you have clicked this video because we get to react together through different types of videos, from creepy to woke, funny, generally all types of videos, even your most favorite video, with the intentions of spreading love, peace, and showing the importance of unity and forgiveness among humans across the whole world. And with your help, wonderful soul, we can spread this message of love across the whole world. Straight out of Africa. Good vibes. Lots of good vibes. Hit the like button, leave some comments, and let's dive in. Good vibes, man. Wow.
So they rewound the video and they found something crazy. So as she's walking along by herself in this alley, this car is going to pull up. The door opens up and a man, you can see right there with the hood on, gets out and he starts to like make a move to grab her. She backs up and she looks absolutely terrified. Now, this is where it gets interesting because the car is going to back up and try to nab her out of the aisle by herself, and you're gonna see this dog comes out of nowhere, absolutely nowhere, comes up aggressively barking at the driver of the car, scares the driver off, and saves this little girl's life potentially.
I love this video. I do. Because God can send anything and anyone to protect you. I love it. I love it. I love it. This girl was in harm's way, but God sent a dog, come on, to protect his child. It's just amazing to me. And
These animals are full of good vibes.
On
man.
April 24th, 1964, Socorro Police Sergeant Lunny Zamora investigated a UFO south of Socorro. He approached the object about 50 feet away. Zamora saw landing gear, a red insignia, and two humanoids. Outside the craft, the egg-shaped object then lifted off, leaving burned bushes and landing gear impressions. The object and its extraordinary occupants remain unknown.
Oh my god, that's very creepy. Do you think that's a
Maybe we should be looking for extraterrestrials, not aliens.
There's one continent inside the Earth and one ocean. Their capital city is built around the original lost Garden of Eden. The vegetation grows like a paradise. The people live to be up to 800 years old. They communicate with telepathy. The inner Earth people have built these androids that fly their flying saucers out to reconnoiter the outer Earth. Our government has been knocking flying saucers out of the sky and back engineering these flying saucers. The people that live in the Hollow Earth are not extraterrestrials. They're from the lost tribes of Israel.
Huh? Oh my god. What do you think about that, wonderful people? What does the secret tunnel lead to? Let's see. Which secret tunnel? Oh my god, look at this tunnel. Oh, this is very creepy. And it is buried below someone's house. Oh my god. Do the owner of this house, did the owner knew there was a tunnel below their house, or did they build this tunnel? Beneath they discovered a surprisingly large space. The more the man thought, the more the frightened he became. Imagine living in a house where there is a tunnel below your house, and you know there is a tunnel that leads to nowhere knows. Oh my god. You can be really frightened. Me myself, I don't think I can be able to continue living in such a house after such a revelation. What about yourself? Please leave some comment. You see, this is really scary. You see? Oh, I'd have to go and check what's there. You see? This is really creepy, man. Oh my god. What do you think beat that tunnel?
Reality looked something like this.
We have satellite imagery. We have photos from space that prove that the Earth is round. So we're heading to meet with an astrophysicist that we hope can answer.
Science heats up. Some Americans are fighting back.
fear was with a boat test, very similar to this one. As a boat approaches the red stripe that was at the bottom has completely disappeared, and it's now getting closer to sort of the middle green stripe that is. It's easy to dismiss this as just a silly theory and unimportant. But the problem is that it's a growing movement in America, more and more young. It's more than just distrusting government. It's this notion that thousands of years of imperial...
Oh my god. That's
all over the world,
man.
people are seeing, taking pictures of, and videos of two suns in the sky. There are dozens and dozens of these pictures, dozens and dozens of videos of the two suns. Inevitably, when I show a picture or a video of two suns in the sky, someone always has an answer. It's just a reflection. A reflection? A reflection of what? Almost all these pictures are taken from someone outside, not from someone looking through a window. This right here was taken in Hong Kong at an airport from a person standing outside. No way to get a reflection. So unless somebody's walking around carrying a window, how do you explain this? Now I myself, I've never seen two suns in the sky, but there's enough people who have for me to take it serious and wonder what is really going on. Could all these people be wrong? Could it be some natural phenomena? Could it be the sun in another planet? I don't know, but I'm not gonna just dismiss what people are seeing. Shabadoo Booskies, Shabadoo!
Oh my god. Do you think those are really two
Alright
suns?
guys, so I was today years old when I found out about this, right? You broken glass, it's on the floor, you gotta sweep it up, the dustpan, right? Now, this lady said that her grandma used to throw bread on the floor, squish it against all the glass shards, sorry, my voice cracked, all the glass shards, so that the glass sticks to the bread, and that way you don't have any glass shards anywhere spread out through the area. It's just like you collect everything with the bread. Do any of y'all throw bread on the floor when you broken glass? Like, I've never heard of this, but if I break some, I'll get some bread. Bro, y'all really be doing the most, man. Like, y'all really need to do the most. It's not that serious, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't even put the whole bottle in there. What are you gonna put, 2-3 shots? How long is that gonna last you? Like an hour or two? Bro. And it's in a little kid's cup, bro. Like, at the hair straightener? No way. Flat iron hair straightener, bro. What? Okay, I didn't know about that hack. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Rate the hack.
Oh, that's really nice, man. What is that? I don't have that. You see? I've never even seen people using that tool they were using. Anyway, it's good vibes, man. Much love. I've had this called an straightener. Oh, and this dog is very interesting, man. He thinks I'm not watching. This is a wonderful dog. You see? These animals are full of good vibes and they are always very interesting. And they do things that are just wonderful and beautiful. Like now, when you see this dog trying to read the psychology of his owner, oh my god! I didn't know dogs can do that. You see? This is really creepy. What do you think is going through the mind of the dog? How do they even speak to themselves? Is it the whole language? Like, what do you think goes on in the mind of the dog? How do they think? Like, do they think in our language, the one we are talking, or do they have their language they think in? Because it's like they think, you see? But now how they think is what I've never understood. Anyway, good vibes and much love to all animals.
My goodness, don't you remember when you went first to school? You went to kindergarten. And in kindergarten, the idea was to push along so that you could get into first grade, and then push along so that you could get into second grade, third grade, so on, going up and up. And then you went to high school, and this was a great transition in life. And now the pressure is being put on. You must get ahead. You must go up the grades and finally be good enough to get to college. And then when you get to college, You're still going step by step, up to the great moment in which you're ready to go out into the world. And then when you get out into this famous world comes the struggle for success in profession or business. And again, there seems to be a ladder before you, something for which you're reaching all the time. And then, suddenly, when you're about 40 or 45 years old in the middle of life, you wake up one day and say, huh? I've arrived. And by Jove, I feel pretty much the same as I've always felt. In fact, I'm not so sure that I don't feel a little bit cheated. Because you see, you were fooled. You were always living for somewhere where you aren't. And while, as I said, it is of tremendous use for us to be able to look ahead in this way and to plan, there is no use planning for a future, which when you get to it and it becomes a present, you won't be there. You'll be living in some other future which hasn't yet arrived. And so in this way, one is never able actually to inherit and enjoy the fruits of one's action. You can't live at all unless you can live fully now. And because now is never satisfactory, because we're never really living in it, we get more and more avid to go ahead and pursue the future. We develop our technology to a fantastic ability where we can more and more fulfill our desires for the future almost immediately, working towards a sort of push-button world. But have you ever stopped to think what the world would be like if you could fulfill every wish the moment you wish it? Suppose, for example, on going to bed at night, you could always dream whatever you wanted to dream. What would happen after a while? Of course, I suppose at first, you would dream fantastic pleasures, wonderful adventures, fulfillment of all the things you ever wished. Then as time went on, don't you think you'd want to be, a little bit surprised, to have a little bit less control over what was happening to you? And after you'd experimented with this for some months or years, you might even want dreams in which you suffer, because there is no real delight, no real fulfillment without delay. Doesn't every child know on a hot day, and you think, I'm terribly thirsty, and I'd like an ice cream soda? Haven't you tried the experiment of putting off drinking it, putting off, so that you get thirstier and thirstier, and it's so much fun when you finally get to it? And so in the same way, impatience with time, always wanting the future, is frustrating. Maya, which generally has the meaning of illusion, or rather, illusions brought about by the acceptance of certain conventions, of which perspective was an example. When we are not aware that certain things which we take for granted, like the separateness of things from each other, when we are not aware that this is a matter of convention, we are apt to be fooled. Now, I think one of the conventions by which we tend to be fooled more than almost any other is time. And for all human beings, time is a matter of extraordinary importance. And perhaps this is one of the principal ways in which we differ from animals. Because man has been called a time-binding animal. That is to say, a creature who is vividly aware of the fact that his life moves, as it were, along a line from the past through the present and into the future. Animals apparently live pretty much moment by moment. They don't appear to have very strong memories, but because man has a strong memory, he is able to bear the past in mind and, as it were, cast it forward into visions of the future based upon what has happened in the past. And therefore, although this facility gives man the most extraordinary ability to plan his life, to prepare for future eventualities, at the same time, there is a very heavy price which he pays for it, and especially if he takes this ability too seriously. In other words, if he doesn't realize that the true reality
Yo, good people of Earth, please send love
We
to
got some
those
breaking
around
news
you.
right now for you guys, and a lot of people have been telling us. We know this, but the truth has actually finally been revealed and came out. Your supermarket and your local stores that sells bottles of water, you gotta stop drinking them.
Bottled water sold in the stores may contain 10 to 100 times more tiny plastic particles than anyone thought before. The study used a new technology to analyze bottled water and found 1 liter contained an average of 240,000 nanoplastics. What? These tiny particles can enter the bloodstream, potentially distributing harmful chemicals across your body. Experts recommend drinking tap water from glass or stainless steel containers to reduce your exposure to these nanoplastics.
And it's telling you to drink tap water to get rid of these things. No, you have to get a purifier because your tap water ain't no longer good either. Trust me, the stuff, the chemicals, the bacteria that is within that tap stream, you don't want to put that in your body. It's worse than the plastic. You need a purifier, or you change the thing on your sink. Listen, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to say this to you right now. The reason why they're exposing the foods, they're telling you about your meat, they're telling you about your cereals, they're telling you about your fruits. Those fruits in the supermarket don't have no seeds in it. They're not even real fruits. They lab created and made. Those are not real fruits. Those are not real seeds if you find seeds inside the fruits. The water that you buy in the supermarket is not even good, not even a bottled water. You need a purifier now that you know this. And I told you last year, they exposed the frozen fruits that be in the refrigerators inside your supermarkets can give you cancer. All these things that you go in the supermarket and buy is no longer good for human beings. You have to have a spiritual eye and a spiritual mind and be open, more awake than ever. You have to really awaken to your reality. This is the age of truth and knowledge. You need to be aware that they telling you these things to wake you up. This is the age of truth. The reason why they telling you all this, because apocalypse is basically about to happen and come into this world. As you can see, there's hella war fighting back and forth, and it's traveling across the states in every country. A lot of people's dying. A lot of missing people is popping up. It's going to get worse because people are waking up in a spiritual eye, in a spiritual sense, and they cannot handle reality. This is fucking real. This is why you have so many people having bunkers, because now the truth is being exposed about your celebrities, about your food, and they're going to leave you. They're going to shut everything down. They're going to leave you behind. The Antichrist is about to arrive on scene. It's about to get real and hectic out here in this world. What are y'all not understanding? And you have people mocking Jesus, turning their back on God. It's going to get real. What part are y'all not understanding? Take it for a joke. You're going to see. You're going to have to open your spiritual eye, your spiritual consciousness eventually. Because the shit that's happening, you're going to have to question it. And they're already telling you. They're already telling you and talking to you about this. But y'all not paying attention. It's real.
Oh my god. Wow, Guardians of the Street. Oh, this is nice, man. Oh, some guy and their dog. This is interesting. Man, this is incredible. This dog is taking a look at the cars and those around us. What do you think is going on in his mind? Is inspecting or what's up? Oh, this is very nice, man. These dogs help these people that they are blind, and that's incredible. These animals are wonderful, man. Let's learn love from them and good vibes, compassion and caring. You see, thanks wonderful people for watching up to this far. You are loved and respected. Hit the like button, leave some comments, spread good vibes. You see, even the super likes if possible. How do you look at how this animal is happy to see his son, man? Wow! This is nice and incredible. But there will be go up and much love to all guys out there that are watching and you have some pet. Much love to yourself too, you see? And even if you feel like you can get one,
I was just in the Akashic Records and I asked about twin flames, and I thought this was pretty interesting. So contrary to popular belief, your twin flame is not the other half of your soul. Your soul didn't originally be one, split into two, and now there's another human being on the planet that is your other half. That's not how it works. We are all part of the same universal soul. There's not separate souls that exist that get to split into two and then there's two halves of that. What it is, though, is you've set up an arrangement with another soul. You probably come from the same soul family or group of souls that you have incarnated with time and time again. Again, stressing that we are all one, even though it seems like we are all separate, and I'm saying that you are incarnating with different souls over and over and over again. It appears that way, just as I appear to be an individual and you appear to be an individual, but that's not actually the case. We are all just manifestations of the one divine source. Anyway, so you've set up an agreement with a soul that you've incarnated many times so that you share a very similar frequency. But again, contrary to popular belief, unless you are a very healed person that doesn't have a lot of energetic blockages left, you would probably find this soul repulsive because they would trigger the absolute living F out of you. However, they're here to teach you unconditional love because you keep being attracted to them over and over again, and the triggers actually force you to face your own blockages.
Some research has shown that vitamin C not only attacks iron, and that's one of the mechanisms by which it targets tumors over healthy cells and can lead to their death. Vitamin C is not chemotherapeutic. Its effects are not chemotherapeutic. Its effects are precision-based. Vitamin C actually increases the ferritin or iron storage synthesis, both in plasma and in mitochondria, and so those are different. So as we can get iron loading so that eventually it can be unloaded, and with vitamin C present, that will destroy the cancer cell.
Oh, good people of Earth, you see? Thanks for watching up to this far, man. You see all those videos that has passed? They remind me that people live differently, you see, and think in different ways. Kindly hit the like button. Watch, leave some comments there, and keep on watching, man. You are loved and respected. Just keep on watching.
How do you do that? How do you freaking do that? It's made, look. It's made for freaking small dogs and you get through it. That's just, I don't get it. How does he do that? I'm glad you don't do that.
Ah. Oh my God.
We got to talk about this more.
Okay.
So, I mean, does any of this go toward your conversation about trying to get this bipartisan bill? I mean, is there something that touched on this?
I mean, look, I think that the bipartisan bill came out of a discussion at a first hearing to ensure that pilots have an ability to report UAPs. There right now is no system for pilots or aviation personnel to report UAPs, whatever UAPs may be, and so the bill would actually do that. Obviously, we can't talk about the details of the briefing, but I think there was some interesting information, and so I think that this is a topic that I think is a national security issue, and it's really important that there's disclosure and transparency. I think that's what the public wants. I think it's also a very serious topic, and so we've got to just take it with seriousness. It is not a joke.
And without giving up state secrets here, we had a couple other members who were just here who said they were disappointed in what they were bipartisan, Democrat or Republican. But one member used the term that what they were exploring here were, her phrase, interdimensional beings. Is that something that we're dealing with here potentially?
I mean, I think it's easy to be disappointed when you don't get all the information that you want, which I understand. I would have loved to receive much more information, but I think that it's reasonable to say that everyone that was in the room received probably new information. I certainly did, and I think it's interesting, additional information to continue the investigation and ask more questions. So definitely have more questions than less questions.
Does that term mean anything to you?
I'm not going to get into any terms. I just think that it's more important to focus on that this is a serious topic and it deserves serious attention. And I actually encourage also members of the media to continue covering this topic. I think that's really important. It is not a fringe topic. It is a serious national security topic.
Continuing the investigation, what does that mean? Is that more hearings? Is that like what do you think?
Well, I mean, as the ranking member of the subcommittee that oversees obviously this topic, I would like to have more hearings. And so I think we've made that request already of the committee, and I think that the hearing requires more investigation.
Who would you like to hear from next?
Look, I think it's public knowledge that everyone, folks, this is an interdepartmental effort as it relates to the agencies involved in oversight and in the UAP conversation. And so it's obviously not just the Defense Department, I think, which is at the center of this, but also our intelligence agencies.
Are you satisfied with the answers you're getting from the intelligence community today during the briefing?
I mean, I I would not describe it that way. I mean, I understand that classification is complicated, and I certainly want more answers. Sure, I would have loved to receive more information, but I would not characterize the discussion as not providing new information, and certainly interesting information.
One of your colleagues said that they seem to keep sending people who either intentionally don't know or intentionally not going to say, as opposed to just.
I would disagree with that assessment. I think you have serious professionals that have long distinguished records in public service. They're trying their best to navigate a very complex issue, and yes, it's true that probably all of us want more answers and more information. But I think that we received additional information today, which I think will lead to other actions.
Is this stuff overclassified?
I don't know. I'm not really sure, but I'd like it to be less classified.
Did you learn anything that bothered you or shook your beliefs?
I think we want more information.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Oh my God! Oh, please share your thoughts on this UFOs.
Any information that you can give us that would shed light on the mystery of gravity on this plane? And is it indigenous to this planet, or is it a mutation?
Say that again. Is there what?
Is it indigenous to here, to the solar system?
Gravity?
Yes, to Earth, or is it a mutation? And would it disappear when the frequencies begin to raise?
Okay. The Andromedan perspective regarding gravity is that it is created by radiation from the sun and our planet. We're told that it's the rotation of the planet on its axis. Their perspective is that it has to do with the radiation from the sun. And they say that any physical body that is 29 miles or larger has a gravitational field. They have gravity on the Andromedan craft, and I would assume that's for a reason, so that they could get more done, so they're not just floating all over the place. I don't believe it's a mutation. There's gravity on all the fields because there's a physicality. So there has to be some form. Whether or not it's going to totally disappear, I think as we move through 3, 4, and into 5th, I think we will deal with a totally different type of gravity as we know it. It'll probably be lighter, but then again, we will have different physical form as well. But again, they say that it comes from the sun. It's the radiation from the sun that creates gravity on our world. You're welcome. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
I have 2 questions. One quickly. They display mutual respect and love, but I'd like to know how they do that. And the second question, in our society, all of our myths and legends seem to be blueprints for our lives. And I'd like to know what kinds of myths and legends, if they have them, that they have. I know you probably don't have time to tell us one tonight. If you would, I'd love it. But, you know, if you could get that information for Val, I'd love to have that.
Okay, they don't call them myths. They call it history. Okay? And I will give those to Val. All right? And you're right, there's a lot, but it's history. We have taken truth and shrouded it as myth because we're hiding an agenda. How do they show mutual respect? They just honor every aspect of their life and everybody else's life. Because they're so evolved, there's no such thing as crime there. There's no laser shootings on a mothership. There's no, they need for nothing. They absolutely need for nothing. Anything that they need is given to them for evolvement. And they all work towards that. They wouldn't think about leaving somebody behind. I'll give you a good example of that too. There was a ship, an extraterrestrial craft that was apparently shut down in 1985. I believe it was 1985. And it was a human being from Tau Ceti who literally got too close, and he was shot down. I understand that our military was able to take him, took him underground somewhere in Arizona, put him on a car, a train, took him underground to North Dakota, where they started doing some really horrific things. Morine told me that a Tau Ceti fleet wanted to come in and invade our planet, particularly North Dakota, to get this guy back. Okay? And it was literally the Andromedans and the Pleiadians, a benevolent group of Pleiadians, that stepped in and said, whoa, no, not yet, it's not the time. That's mutual respect. It's not leaving POWs in Vietnam because you owe this, because you promised the government $3 billion. It's not leaving men in North Korea because you lied, because you're dealing drugs. You don't want everybody else to know. That's not mutual respect. They would never, ever think to do something like that. And those are things, those are characteristics we need to look at. Because there are many in this room that probably know about that. I mean, there are right now, as we are standing here right today, there are 117 men still left in SPOWs, but they're not in Vietnam. Okay, they're being held in northern Laos. There are also 3 men that are still alive from the Korean War, still being held in North Korea. And our government knows, and they know. A lot of the POWs were used for scientific experiments. We did it to some of their guys, using drugs, LSD, we like blew their minds. And they've done some pretty horrific things to our people. These are all real character issues, and it's one thing to hear about it in the news or to listen to Joyce Riley talk about the Gulf War syndrome and how our guys have been betrayed. It's one thing to sit in your living room and say, oh my God, that's terrible. What you don't understand is that we are very carefully being watched by some incredible races, both good and bad. And they are watching us and our characteristics, what we will do, what we will not do. They are measuring our honor and intent. Okay? It's not just about us anymore. It's about everything. And I know you're probably being taught that. So when you hear stuff like this, please don't go into your little box. Okay? Those people had families. They had children just like you do now. And it was all taken away because they were betrayed. And betrayal is a major issue that we're all going to have to deal with when the truth finally does come screaming out. Okay? We have been betrayed, and we're going to have to come together and find a way to totally forgive that so that we can move on. But in forgiving it, it's important not to allow it to happen again, to be more diligent, to be more vigilant. I'm so tired. I don't even have my notes. Okay, it's on the internet. All right, the Earth Changes is on the internet. Most of you already know. Okay, you're looking for dates, specific dates, what time, so on and so forth. That's not important. It is definitely coming, but it's all a probability as to when. All right? But there are more people negatively polarized on the planet that it's almost a sure thing that it's going to happen at this point. The internet is a leading edge research group. I'm sorry? Yeah, he's free to do whatever he wants. None of this has a copyright. None of the tapes, the newsletters, nothing. It's not mine. I don't own it. I'm just here to deliver it. So you can do whatever you want with it. Just don't change the intent, okay? Just don't change the intent.
Oh my God. Peace, love, forgiveness, and unity, man.